Okay, so by special request, I am doing this video for Chris. I am making a tutorial on doing Z-depth and rendering that out and then being able to composite that image and use it to create a 2D depth of field effect. Okay, so I'm going to want to go to the out menu here, and in this section, um, I have the mantra node, but let's just create one from scratch. Just gonna go here and go to mantra. So I have a mantra node now, and I'm going to scroll down to the section here under images, image, or extra image planes. And here's where you can set up a whole bunch of different render passes. Um, and a lot of them you can do here with check marks, and then it's going to be associated with the component that you want to export. And on this station, for some reason, it shows it off to the side, but we can look at basic components, diffuse, reflect, and subsurface scattering, or common components, and it has a few more options here. So if we're doing a depth path, what you want is shading depth PZ, so that's position Z, and that's going to set up a render pass for the depth. So let's take a look at that in mplay really quick. And when it renders, we're going to be seeing an image that's going to be what is called a high dynamic range image. So when it starts going here, we have our regular red, green, blue channels plus our alpha. So that's our alpha channel. And we can look at all of those combined together. But on top of that, we also have the PZ, which is an extra channel in our image space for this image. And if we click on that, we can see that we're getting a black and white image for the depth. Something to note with this, again, because it's a high dynamic range image, if I push I, we can do our point inspector, and we can see that at some points, like over here, I'm at like, if you look at the number below the swatch, I'm at like 45 for the value of 48. Going way back here, I'm in the 200s. The closer I get to the camera, the closer to one I'm getting. So, whereas if we were looking at our color, we don't see any values here that are ever above 1. So our color ranges for an inside of our RGB is all from 0 to 1, but with our depth pass we get a lot more information that we can read. So we'll take a look at how this affects the compositing when we look at this image. So I'm going to save frame as, and then you can set destination. Have a job. I can go to render, and I'm going to do depth of field test. So I have the image, and I'm just going to export it as an EXR. It's a more widely used format for the most part. So I'm going to do that and click accept, and then save. One image was saved, perfect. And I can close this now. So I'm going to go to our image panel here and go into our compositing node. To view what we're seeing here, we can go to our composite view, and here I can bring in our file node, and in this file node, it's already referencing it, but it's actually referencing a different one. So let's go into the image that was the test that I was doing before. We can go to our job, render, depth of field test, accept. So the image looks the same, but it is the new one that I just rendered out. So here I have the color, I have an alpha channel, and then I have the PZ, which is our depth channel. And here we can see that when we're looking at it inside of the viewport here, it looks like a solid white image, but again, when we look at the number below the swatch, and actually all the numbers, as we scroll around here, because it's a high dynamic range image, we can see that it actually does have information in here. We can click this adapt to full pixel range button here, and then we can actually see our depth information a lot easier. So that is kind of nice. We can go here to our color channel, and let's do a quick depth of field pass. And to do that, we can go to depth of field, and I'm gonna connect that there. And here, let's go back to our PZ channel, and just so that we can see what's going on here, I'm gonna adapt so that we can see more of the image and know where we want to select. So let's say we wanted to get in focus somewhere around here, so I'm going to say about 45. So the focus distance, I'm going to type in 45, and that's going to make that area in focus here. And we can go to our full color range. And here with the full color range, we can see that we aren't seeing any depth of field yet. And that is because our depth of field is going to start working based off of a defocus node. So in the defocus node, we have two inputs. We have the mask input, and then we have the defocus, image to defocus input here. So this channel here is going to go into our mask, and then our original image is going to go into that image. So let's put the display flag here, and we can see it blurs out the whole image, but it's just blurring out everything in our shot, and that's not what we want. We want to be able to get the focus to be only in the area that we want it, and then to be focused near and far. So we can go here to the mask, and we can see that it's reading the alpha channel for our mask input, which is not what we want. And actually another cool thing that we can look at is here in the depth of field. If we put the eyedropper here, our original image, when we looked at it, let's go here really quick one more time, we have the color, alpha, and then the PZ, which is our depth channel. Here, once we added a depth of field, we can look, and we have an extra channel, which is M for our mask, and that's automatically generated when we create this depth of field, and it uses our PZ channel to be able to achieve that. So when we go here into the defocus, we want to make sure that we select the M for mask. So that's cool, and it is working right now. It's just, or actually it's not working. There's one more thing that we have to do. We have to do per pixel defocus, and that's going to allow us to access the mask when we are using this tool. So if I turn that on now, it is working. We can increase the defocus amount here, and that's starting to work a little bit, but if we want an even stronger effect, we can go here in the depth of field, and in the depth adjust, we can actually adjust this value, and as we do so, you can see that things are starting to get in and out of focus as well. And maybe I'll do somewhere around here, and I can go back to the defocus node and I can say that I don't want it to be as blurry, so I can kind of tone this down a little bit, and playing back and forth with those two channels, or those two attributes, the defocus in the defocus node and in the depth of field node, we can adjust the depth adjust, and that will adjust the amount of focus everywhere. And then we can also go into our depth focus here and choose something else that we want to look at. So let's go back to this image here, and I'm going to view the PZ, and again I'm going to adapt it so I can see. So maybe I want to focus somewhere around here. That's about 33 or so. So I'm going to go back to our color, take this and put it at 33, not 300, but 33. And we can look at our defocus node here. Not 333, just 33. There we go. Now we're getting that in focus here in this range, and again we can adjust the amount of blurriness we want, and also in the depth of field we can really kind of tone this down if we wanted to, so that more is in focus. You can still see that we're getting a defocusing happening in the back, and we still have some in the foreground, but this area here is in real nice clear focus. That's how you create a depth of field effect in post using a Z depth pass rendered inside of Houdini and composited inside of Houdini. So I hope you guys found this useful, and if you guys did create anything based off of this, I'd love to see it. Please send me a link over to my Twitter account, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Please like, subscribe, share, and keep on being awesome.